In the episode of the Patty, SpongeBob is having fun making Krabby Patties, as he does, and he ends up making what he believes to be the perfect patty. And instead of eating it or letting the customer eat it, he decides to spend the day with the patty and treats it like how I would treat Jenna Ortega if she ever wanted to spend the day with me, which will most likely never happen, but I think you get what I'm trying to say. Spongy is in love with his burger, and this weirds out his friends and everyone around. I don't blame them because this is the weirdest thing that SpongeBob would ever do. Then he ends the day by taking the patty to the Krusty Krab for a date, and this would cause the customers to run out in horror because throughout the day the patty was going bad due to SpongeBob not eating it and not keeping it in the fridge. Plus, it almost gets eaten by some baby clams and was dropped down a waterfall. When SpongeBob realizes halfway through his date that the patty is now nasty and gross, then Mr. Krabs tells Spongy Boy that Krabby Patties are for loving and eating, and SpongeBob eats the patty because he loved it before it went and aged like a bag of milk. And the episode ends. Yeah, I'm not kidding, that's literally how the episode ends. Yeah, this episode does not make sense in the logic of the show because SpongeBob never really falls in love before or after this episode aired, outside of Squidward and Plankton, but that's a story for a different time. SpongeBob is one of those few characters that don't fall in love, which will be a surprise to the casual viewer, but not surprising to people who have been watching it since the day they were born. Other characters like Plankton, Krab, Squidward, or hell, even Patrick have fallen in love at some point in time, with Patrick having a mermaid fetish because I don't know. So the only way for this to make sense is that there was either a gas leak or he actually did make the perfect patty, and he didn't know that his feeling of pride could also be the feeling of love, which does not make sense because it is very clear that SpongeBob knows how to express his emotions. So I'm just gonna go with Ghastly because it also explains the Squidward and Current Netland episode being weird and trippy. Plus, this patty makes him kill a bunch of baby clams and sing a somewhat catchy song, which is ironically the only part of the episode that everyone remembers.
Oh baby, I love you so strong, that's why I'm singing this song.
The simple answer for this is that SpongeBob was being frienderized, either because the writers had burnout or Nickelodeon was demanding too much of the writers, which is something that happens a lot with popular cartoons. Family Guy and The Simpsons are the first ones that come up to mind. This episode was from season 5, a forgettable season that had Patrick jerk with SpongeBob in the Mermaid Man card episode, and Mr. Krabs making Patrick hurt himself because Krabs and everyone in Bikini Bottom but SpongeBob is an asshole. Hi, this is me editing the video, and I literally just realized that those episodes were from season 6. So all that proves is that season 5 is very forgettable. Yeah, this season has some bad episodes, and even then I wouldn't call it a Dark Age season because most of the episodes here are either alright or pretty mid, which is something I'll say about most of Nickelodeon's live action lineup. Anyways, season 5 and to some extent season 4 was a start of a decline for SpongeBob, and this was a good example of that. Yeah, there were some positives, like some of the jokes being funny, Krabs actually being a father figure to SpongeBob, which is something that rarely happens in this season, but the negatives in this one outweigh the good here, causing this episode to be remembered as a weird fever dream that a bunch of kids had, even though it wasn't. Now to end off this video, I'm going to talk about the DVD release because how else would you come up with an idea like this? This DVD is decent. Bonus episodes other than Mermaid Man vs. SpongeBob are fine, they're watchable, they're not the best episodes and they're not the worst when you think about it. The menus are alright, and this DVD is only worth owning for the novelty of saying I own that DVD of that weird episode of SpongeBob where he falls in love with a sandwich. Other than that, this DVD has no value. Unless you're a SpongeBob DVD collector like me, you won't probably enjoy this release. But if you have a child, I guess they might enjoy it. It's SpongeBob at the end of the day, and children like anything with SpongeBob on it.
Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to suggest any other SpongeBob episodes in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the next episode of whatever you're supposed to pronounce this.